Welcome to the Story World channel. Enjoy your viewing experience. Lily gazed at her wristwatch, a surge of apprehension coursing through her with each fleeting moment. Her infant, scheduled for feeding half an hour past, was yet to be delivered, a situation amplifying her disquiet. Amidst the auditory backdrop of other mothers embracing their newborns, a conspicuous absence enveloped her. Her daughter remained elusive. The woman's heart was a cauldron of unease, her sense of place lost within a labyrinth of disconcerting thoughts. It was akin to an emotional amputation, the figurative extraction of her heart, manipulated by unseen hands endeavoring to rend it asunder. Assurances resonated, a chorus of comfort assuaging her turmoil. "Fear not, for your cherished daughter shall be presented," offered a neighbor within the ward. Yet these well-intentioned words fell upon Lily like fragile petals, failing to quell the tempest within. It was an easy solace for her neighbor, whose offspring nestled nearby, a tangible closeness that Lily yearned for. Alas, her yearning remained unfulfilled, her maternal embrace distanced by enigmatic forces. Lily's longing for her long-awaited daughter manifested as an insatiable hunger, gnawing at her sanity. The notion of her daughter existing but being unreachable ignited a conflagration of restlessness within her being. Laughter intermingled with the chaotic symphony, a neighbor's mirthful suggestion that she should repose rather than pacing the confines of the ward. Yet an intangible pressure, an ominous warning, pulsed within Lily's chest, a guardian instinct perhaps, signaling impending danger. Regrettably, Lily's apprehensions proved warranted, as her daughter was once again swept away, a consequence of elevated bilirubin levels within her bloodstream. Phototherapy sessions were deemed requisite, a necessary course for her well-being. The pronouncement was made that the luminous therapy's radiance would grace her daughter for a final time, thereafter to remain uninterruptedly in her mother's embrace, a beacon of hope amidst an unsettling storm. Restiveness overtaking her, Lily approached the nurse, her inquiry met with an evasive glance and a directive to bide her time. Heartbeats surged, an escalating cadence mirroring her inner tumult. The arrival of the doctor brought a whispered revelation, one that shattered her world. Young Diana had vanished. Within the next heartbeat, Lily's world plummeted into darkness, consciousness fleeting as despair enveloped her. How could such a loss transpire within the cocooned confines of the maternity ward? Whence had her precious child vanished? Upon regaining consciousness, Lily clung to a semblance of disbelief, grappling with the cruel reality that confronted her. Fate's scales had tipped unfairly, and she and her family were thrust into a harrowing ordeal. A relentless search ensued, an exhaustive exploration of every nook and cranny within the maternity ward. It was as though the very fabric of the ward was unraveling in the pursuit of her missing child. As her equilibrium gradually stabilized, Lily's husband materialized, a pillar of support in her turbulent sea of emotions. Through anguished words, she relayed the heartbreaking news that had forever altered the course of their lives. In the depths of the maternity ward's bustling corridors, a diligent assembly of medical staff diligently scoured every nook and cranny. Yet the whereabouts of the little girl remained an enigma, an unsolved riddle echoing through the sterile air. The corridor's silent corners whispered the tale of her inexplicable disappearance, an enigma that perplexed even the most seasoned minds among them. The tendrils of deduction reached out, their touch conjuring forth the only plausible conclusion, a conclusion that hung like a shadow, heavy with implications. The tendrils of suspicion wove an intricate web, spun with the threads of possibility and uncertainty, leading inexorably to the chilling notion that the baby had been swept away, abducted from the haven of the ward. Understanding, elusive as the morning mist, remained a distant shore for those caught in this tumultuous tide. What motive could have compelled someone to orchestrate the nefarious act of kidnapping an innocent child? A question that left the mind both curious and haunted. In this labyrinthine tale of despair, the central figure emerged, a woman whose life was a tapestry of ordinary existence, woven with the threads of modest means and simple aspirations. Her identity carried the weight of an inexplicable choice, a departure from the path she once tread. She was no stranger to toil, a worker and a journalist, striving to make her mark before embracing the mantle of motherhood. Whispers of vendetta fluttered like tattered pages in the wind. Had her words, typed with ink and printed in black and white, stirred an inferno of retribution, an unsettling notion that hung in the air like a shroud. A curtain of vigilance descended, as doctors and officers sealed entrances and exits, transforming the ward into an isolated realm. The air itself seemed to hold its breath as the meticulous scrutiny of staff and patients commenced. An atmosphere ripe with suspicion, where every eye bore the weight of judgment and scrutiny. Within the heart of this intricate dance, a policeman's contemplation ventured into the realm of darkness, the realm of murder. What if the tendrils of accident and fear had intertwined, leading to an unintended tragedy? The mind recoiled from such thoughts, fearing the chasm of madness they might unleash. Amidst the storm of uncertainty, Lily stood, her heart a tempest of emotions. The solace of hope remained her anchor, the ember that resisted the encroaching night. Amidst the turmoil, her resilience emerged as a beacon, guiding her through the maelstrom. The physicians, like alchemists of the mind, prescribed tranquilizers to temper Lily's emotional tempest. Yet the tablets remained powerless against the cavernous wounds etched upon her soul. Grief's grasp, an unrelenting vise, shattered her spirit into fragments that whispered echoes of despair. Thoughts churned like turbulent waters, each wave crashing against the shores of reason. Yet, amidst this sea of turmoil, no lifeline of clarity emerged. The mists of uncertainty swirled, concealing the path forward. In the labyrinthine investigation, a figure emerged from the shadows, a singular entity spotlighted by suspicion's unyielding glare. Alana, a midwife veiled in obscurity, stood at the center of the storm. Her life, a tapestry of intricacies, was woven with threads of enigma. Like a character in a story, she eluded easy categorization, a puzzle with pieces that refused to conform. Motive danced like a specter, elusive and evasive. The enigma of Alana's intentions puzzled even the most astute minds, concealing its true nature beneath layers of ambiguity. Her absence from the scene was an eloquent silence that spoke volumes, casting her into the role of prime suspect. Neighbors, like background actors in this unfolding drama, added their whispers to the chorus. Their tales painted a picture of a woman in flux, a chameleon who shed her past life like a snake discarding its skin. An abrupt departure, a hasty sail, the puzzle pieces of Alana's existence, scattered and fragmented. Opinions swirled like leaves caught in an autumn breeze, some portraying Alana as a paragon of virtue, diligent, responsible, and possessing a soul as pure as untrodden snow. Others saw a different facet, one veiled in reticence and unease. In the grand theater of perception, the audience was divided. Yet within this college of opinions, one truth remained: Alana's actions defied easy explanation. As the investigation wove its intricate tapestry, the woman at its center remained shrouded in a cloak of mystery, a complexity that mirrored the very enigma they sought to unravel. Entangled in the chaotic dance of conflicts, Alana bore no record on the ledger of the psychiatric institution. Her life, a canvas of complexities, held shadows of brawls and turmoil, a narrative etched in invisible ink upon the pages of her past. 5 years prior, Alana's world suffered a fracture, a shard of loss that cut deep into her heart, her mother's departure from this mortal coil. The tendrils of grief, gnarled and persistent, had since woven their presence into the fabric of her existence. Yet, even amidst this tempest of emotions, her ex-husband stood aloof, an enigmatic figure lurking in the shadows, detached and indifferent. When the police sought his counsel, his response was an apathetic shrug. a declaration that his life had shifted its course, a new family woven from the threads of time. His silence echoed through the chambers of investigation, a resolute refusal to share even a morsel of insight into the enigma that was Alana. A watchful gaze settled upon this reticent figure, a vigil maintained to unearth any secrets concealed beneath his exterior of nonchalance. Yet, as the days unfurled like chapters in a silent story, the canvas remained blank. The man's actions and movements appeared innocent, a portrayal untouched by the brushstrokes of guilt. Within Lily, a storm raged, a tempestuous ocean of emotions that threatened to consume the shores of her sanity. Each passing day, a piece of her soul seemed to wither, a silent lament that echoed in the depths of her being. The flame of hope flickered with each gust of despair, a fragile beacon in the night. Regrets, like vultures circling, descended upon her thoughts. The choice to relinquish her daughter haunted her, a specter that whispered tales of what-ifs. The weight of that decision bore down upon her, a burden she struggled to bear. She yearned for a chance to rewind time, to rewrite the script of fate. In the realm of their shared existence, Lily and her husband, Lance, navigated the tumultuous waters. A partnership forged in love and bound by pain, they stood united against the onslaught of anguish. Lance, a pillar of strength, offered solace and support, a testament to the power of their bond. Yet even the mightiest bastion of resilience had its limits. The tidal wave of grief, like a relentless force of nature, swept over Lance, drowning him in its depths. Amidst moments of darkness, his inner demons emerged, accusing and resentful. The fortress of his self-control crumbled, and accusations flowed like a river unleashed. Lily bore the brunt of his torment, the weight of his words lodging like thorns within her heart. The refrain of blame echoed through her mind, a symphony of guilt that played on repeat. She questioned her choices, dissected her actions, and wondered if a different path could have led to a different outcome. The quiet hours of introspection held no respite. Sleep became an elusive specter, slipping through her grasp as she wrestled with her thoughts. Sedatives, like fleeting promises of peace, offered only temporary solace, a reprieve from the relentless torrent of self-reproach. Amidst the sea of anguish, the truth remained. The past could not be rewritten, and destiny's script was an enigma yet to be unraveled. Lily's heartache was a testament to her humanity, a reflection of the love and longing that defined her role as a mother. And as the night wore on, she clung to the fragile thread of hope, a lifeline that anchored her amidst the storm. In the quiet corners of their shared existence, Lily's gaze would linger, fixated on a singular point in space, as if seeking answers or solace in the stillness. Days blurred into one another, a monotonous procession punctuated only by the unchanging nature of her stare. Lance, a steadfast figure by her side, endeavored to breach the walls of her detachment, coaxing her from her reverie. His words, like gentle ripples on a tranquil pond, carried the weight of encouragement. "Right," he suggested, his voice a melodic cadence in the silence. "Your articles, your words, they have the power to breathe life into the world." But his attempts at rekindling her spirit fell upon ears deafened by the echoes of her inner turmoil. It was as if his earnest pleas ricocheted off an invisible barrier, leaving his efforts unacknowledged. Lance's resolve, a formidable fortress of patience, gradually crumbled beneath the relentless pressures of life. As he gazed into Lily's vacant eyes, his own spirit eroded, replaced by a cloak of helplessness. Seeking refuge from his own despair, he sought solace in the embrace of the bottle, unwittingly ensnaring himself in a cycle of self-destruction. Meanwhile, in the shadows cast by her own transgressions, Alana reveled in the triumph of her cunning. Her audacious act, a calculated gambit, had yielded the ultimate prize, the fulfillment of a dream long harbored. Cradling the infant in her arms, wrapped in a cocoon of warmth, Alana marveled at the realization that she had finally attained the status of motherhood. Gazing down at the tiny form nestled against her chest, Alana's heart pulsed with an unfamiliar rhythm, a symphony of maternal affection and trepidation. The scent of baby powder and the rhythmic cadence of soft cries forged an intimate connection, bridging the chasm between her past and her present. Her newfound refuge, an abandoned forester's house nestled on the fringes of a fading village, became both sanctuary and cradle. There, amid the creaking timbers and whispered echoes of a bygone era, Alana meticulously orchestrated her clandestine existence. The walls whispered secrets as she navigated this uncharted path of deception and elation. Juggling the intricate dance of deception, Alana ventured into the village, a place seemingly untouched by the tumult of her actions. In the labyrinthine aisles of the marketplace, she replenished her supplies: baby clothes, nourishing formula, and powdered milk, a trail of breadcrumbs leading to the reality she meticulously concealed. The village, like an unwitting accomplice, harbored no suspicion as she slipped through its streets, the facade of normalcy shrouding her clandestine intentions. For hours, she would leave her secret treasure, trusting the hands of fate to shield her infant charge during her absence. But as the days wove the tapestry of existence, the prospect of a future loomed like a specter, its presence undeniable. Alana, swept up in the euphoria of her stolen motherhood, had been too consumed by her immediate triumph to contemplate the complexity of the path she had chosen. With each passing day, the infant grew, mirroring the relentless march of time. Alana's elation began to blend with apprehension, a concoction of emotions stirred by the realization that her fabricated reality could not be sustained indefinitely. Yet she clung to the illusion, promising herself that she would cross each bridge as it appeared, confronting challenges with the ingenuity that had brought her this far. In the midst of Lily's own journey, the tendrils of Alana's narrative reached a critical juncture. As Lily's life intertwined with the enigmatic midwife's, the tapestry of fate began to unravel, secrets poised to collide in an intricate dance of revelation. In the heart of the unfolding story, Alana stood at the precipice of understanding, teetering on the edge of revelation, her motivations and mysteries poised to unfurl like petals in bloom. An irresistible force seemed to guide Alana's actions, a pull that drew her towards this particular child like a moth to a flame. She had been waiting, biding her time for a celestial signal, a nod from the heavens that her moment had arrived. And so, as fate would have it, the baby was once again whisked away for medical procedures, leaving Alana with a window of opportunity to enact her audacious plan. In that solitary moment, the threads of destiny wove a sinister tapestry as Alana committed the unthinkable act. Her heart raced with a concoction of exhilaration and trepidation, emotions intermingling like the brushstrokes of a chaotic painting. With the baby now under her care, Alana felt an intoxicating surge of triumph, a secret jubilation that danced within her soul. The intricacies of her scheme had been artfully designed, a testament to her cunning and resolve. Alana was well aware of the bureaucratic hurdles that awaited those seeking adoption through official channels. The orphanage, a fortress of regulations and waiting lists, would not readily bestow a child upon a single woman. Undeterred, Alana had devised her own path, one paved with calculated risks and clandestine actions. The birth of the child, Diana, had been the catalyst for Alana's audacious decision. In the depths of her being, she believed that destiny had intertwined their lives, binding them in a cosmic embrace. With every glance, Alana felt an inexplicable connection, a kinship that transcended the boundaries of biology. She felt chosen, as if the universe had ordained this child to become her own. The initial days were a whirlwind of emotions for Alana. The role of motherhood, a mantle she had willingly assumed, proved to be a labyrinth of challenges and triumphs. Like a novice dancer, she stumbled and soared through the steps of nurturing, learning to decipher the language of cries and the nuances of infant care. But amidst the chaos, Alana lived as if suspended in a dream, each moment imbued with a surreal glow. Yet, as with all tales of euphoria, a reckoning loomed on the horizon. The intoxicating elixir of bliss began to lose its potency, replaced by the nagging doubts that whispered from the shadows. Alana's mind became a battleground of conflicting emotions, a tumultuous arena where euphoria warred with regret. The truth gnawed at her consciousness like a persistent specter. The child was not hers, an irrefutable fact that refused to be ignored. As days melded into nights, Alana's once resolute conviction began to unravel, revealing the tangled web of guilt and deception that lay beneath. The weight of her actions pressed down upon her, the remorseful realization that her triumph had come at a steep cost. With every rustle of the wind and every creak of a branch, Alana's heart leaped with a mixture of fear and paranoia. The walls of her secluded sanctuary, once a refuge, now seemed to close in around her, suffocating her in a cocoon of anxiety. The euphoria that had once buoyed her spirit transformed into a relentless torment, a ceaseless barrage of tormenting thoughts. As she gazed upon the infant she had once cherished, Alana's heart ached with a bitter irony. The bond that had initially felt unbreakable now seemed fragile, as if a veil had been lifted to reveal the chasm that separated them. The child, once a symbol of her triumph, now stood as a haunting reminder of her transgression. Eclipsing the once bright sun of contentment, a storm of depression gathered on Alana's horizon. The weight of her actions bore down upon her, transforming her joyous dance into a mournful dirge. She grappled with an existential dilemma, torn between the promise of a future she had dreamt of and the truth that now gnawed at her soul. As the baby's cries pierced the air, Alana's patience frayed, and her anger occasionally bubbled to the surface. The demands of motherhood, once embraced with fervor, now wore on her psyche, a constant reminder of her precarious situation. Desperation led her to leave the confines of her refuge for hours, seeking respite in the mundane tasks of the outside world. In the heart of this tempest, Alana found herself adrift, a sailor lost in the sea of her own choices. The whispers of doubt and regret, once distant murmurs, now echoed loudly within her mind. The path she had chosen, shrouded in secrecy and deception, had led her to a crossroads where each step seemed laden with uncertainty. The journey that had begun with a stolen child had evolved into a tumultuous odyssey of the soul. She possessed a crystal-clear comprehension that upon her return, an oppressive sense of solitude would once again enshroud her existence. A void, vast and all-consuming, stood ready to greet her, much like an old acquaintance. Meanwhile, the child's demeanor had evolved into an irksome state, demanding immediate intervention. Urgency loomed in the air, a silent conductor of necessary actions. Alana's transformation mirrored the chameleon's artistry. She shed weight until her frame was but a shadow of its former self. Self-loathing had become her companion, each thought tainted with regrets of an alternate path untaken. She found herself ensnared in the labyrinth of what-ifs, a constant reverie of divergent destinies. Amidst the chaos, a realization surfaced like a beacon cutting through fog. The mantle of motherhood had worn thin. No longer did she harbor the desire to engage in the routine of maternal duties. Diapers and bottles had transitioned into burdens rather than responsibilities. Financial woes added barbs to her predicament. The child's cries, once a symphony of innocence, now bore the grating tune of frustration. Alana's patience wore thin, eroded by the ceaseless cascade of maddening sound. The weight of existence grew unbearable. An overwhelming tide threatened to engulf her. In the crucible of her thoughts, a decision crystallized. Alana enshrouded the child within a weathered cloth, a protective cocoon of sorts. She embarked on a journey, hitchhiking towards the city's heart, guided by a distant memory, an address etched in her mind like an ancient rune. A primal fear of capture haunted her every step. The specter of confinement loomed large. But hope propelled her forward, an aspiration that returning the child might serve as her sanctuary. A semblance of normalcy yearned to be recaptured, the delicate balance she once knew. Reality, however, seldom dances to a single tune. Alana's love story with her beloved had veered off course, but the universe's orbit was not singularly tethered to him. Parenthood had weaved a complex tapestry, one where her threads intertwined with his yet never consumed her identity. Her stride to the entrance was marked by discomfort, shoes gnawing at her feet, hunger growling within, and the child's cries echoing in the air. The temptation to shed this unwanted appendage tugged at her. She contemplated discarding the child, freeing herself from the weight of companionship. Amidst the turmoil, memories of a radiant wedding day cast a soft glow. A union that had once been a sunlit haven now faced the shadow of transformation. The news of impending parenthood had ignited joy, but fate had etched a different narrative. The birth's complexity and the haunting absence of cries had unhinged Alana's sanity. With every rustle of the wind and every creak of a branch, Alana's heart leaped with a mixture of fear and paranoia. The walls of her secluded sanctuary, once a refuge, now seemed to close in around her, suffocating her in a cocoon of anxiety. The euphoria that had once buoyed her spirit transformed into a relentless torment, a ceaseless barrage of tormenting thoughts. As she gazed upon the infant she had once cherished, Alana's heart ached with a bitter irony. The bond that had initially felt unbreakable now seemed fragile, as if a veil had been lifted to reveal the chasm that separated them. The child, once a symbol of her triumph, now stood as a haunting reminder of her transgression. Eclipsing the once bright sun of contentment, a storm of depression gathered on Alana's horizon. The weight of her actions bore down upon her, transforming her joyous dance into a mournful dirge. She grappled with an existential dilemma, torn between the promise of a future she had dreamt of and the truth that now gnawed at her soul. As the baby's cries pierced the air, Alana's patience frayed, and her anger occasionally bubbled to the surface. The demands of motherhood, once embraced with fervor, now wore on her psyche, a constant reminder of her precarious situation. Desperation led her to leave the confines of her refuge for hours, seeking respite in the mundane tasks of the outside world. In the heart of this tempest, Alana found herself adrift, a sailor lost in the sea of her own choices. The whispers of doubt and regret, once distant murmurs, now echoed loudly within her mind. The path she had chosen, shrouded in secrecy and deception, had led her to a crossroads where each step seemed laden with uncertainty. The journey that had begun with a stolen child had evolved into a tumultuous odyssey of the soul. She possessed a crystal-clear comprehension that upon her return, an oppressive sense of solitude would once again enshroud her existence. A void, vast and all-consuming, stood ready to greet her, much like an old acquaintance. Meanwhile, the child's demeanor had evolved into an irksome state, demanding immediate intervention. Urgency loomed in the air, a silent conductor of necessary actions. Alana's transformation mirrored the chameleon's artistry. She shed weight until her frame was but a shadow of its former self. Self-loathing had become her companion, each thought tainted with regrets of an alternate path untaken. She found herself ensnared in the labyrinth of what-ifs, a constant reverie of divergent destinies. Amidst the chaos, a realization surfaced like a beacon cutting through fog. The mantle of motherhood had worn thin. No longer did she harbor the desire to engage in the routine of maternal duties. Diapers and bottles had transitioned into burdens rather than responsibilities. Financial woes added barbs to her predicament. The child's cries, once a symphony of innocence, now bore the grating tune of frustration. Alana's patience wore thin, eroded by the ceaseless cascade of maddening sound. The weight of existence grew unbearable. An overwhelming tide threatened to engulf her. In the crucible of her thoughts, a decision crystallized. Alana enshrouded the child within a weathered cloth, a protective cocoon of sorts. She embarked on a journey, hitchhiking towards the city's heart, guided by a distant memory, an address etched in her mind like an ancient rune. A primal fear of capture haunted her every step. The specter of confinement loomed large. But hope propelled her forward, an aspiration that returning the child might serve as her sanctuary. A semblance of normalcy yearned to be recaptured, the delicate balance she once knew. Reality, however, seldom dances to a single tune. Alana's love story with her beloved had veered off course, but the universe's orbit was not singularly tethered to him. Parenthood had weaved a complex tapestry, one where her threads intertwined with his yet never consumed her identity. Her stride to the entrance was marked by discomfort, shoes gnawing at her feet, hunger growling within, and the child's cries echoing in the air. The temptation to shed this unwanted appendage tugged at her. She contemplated discarding the child, freeing herself from the weight of companionship. Amidst the turmoil, memories of a radiant wedding day cast a soft glow. A union that had once been a sunlit haven now faced the shadow of transformation. The news of impending parenthood had ignited joy, but fate had etched a different narrative. The birth's complexity and the haunting absence of cries had unhinged Alana's sanity. Her mind, a tempest of confusion, yearned to release its storm. The urge to let loose a primal howl, a primal release of the pent-up tempest within her, beckoned. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, an odyssey defined by perplexity, a narrative unburdened by predictability. Grief, a relentless specter, draped itself over the couple's aspirations. Embarking on a fervent journey to embrace parenthood, they navigated a labyrinth of attempts, each met with resounding silence from the cosmos. Alana, once vibrant, found herself ensnared in the clutches of a somber verdict, the disheartening pronouncement of infertility. Defiance fueled Alana's spirit, her determination a force to be reckoned with. A secret whispered to the depths of her heart. She shielded her husband from the weight of reality, concealing the verdict that lay like a shadow between them. An unyielding endeavor saw them return to the realm of conception, ceaselessly striving to grasp the elusive gift of a child. Yet fate remained unmoved, a distant observer to their ardent pursuit. One fateful day, the truth was unveiled, a clandestine truth tucked away in the attic's recesses. A paper trail of anguish, bearing the weight of a doctor's final word, lay exposed. Silence enveloped the space between husband and wife, communication reduced to a mere gesture, a circular motion beside the temple, a quiet emblem of Alana's perceived obsession. A precipice was reached, and a chasm grew, driving them apart. Alana's quest persisted, a solitary figure in a battle against nature's decree. Many faces brushed against the canvas of her life, but none held the power to breathe life into the longed-for dream. Desperation led her to the precipice of adoption, but the door was unceremoniously closed, a rejection that echoed her internal struggle. Amidst the shadows, a moment of recklessness etched a stain upon her existence. The decision, rash and impulsive, led her down a treacherous path. A stolen baby, an attempt to fill the void with an illusion of her own creation, a mirage that crumbled under the weight of truth. Love, a commodity she couldn't summon for another's child, remained an elusive specter. Journeying through a maze of uncertainty, Alana finally stood before the entrance that held her perceived salvation. Time's passage was palpable, etching wrinkles and erasing innocence from familiar faces. The doorbell's chime hung in the air, a note of uncertainty as she awaited acknowledgement. The door swung open, revealing a figure transformed by the passage of time, her features a landscape altered by the relentless march of life's tribulations. Alana's voice quivered as she relinquished her hold on the child, words tumbling forth, an admission of surrender. "Take your daughter back. I can carry this burden no more. The weight has become too much to bear." A tableau of confusion unfolded, Lily's arms cradling the child, her eyes a mirror of bewilderment. The script had unraveled, leaving her in a tale with no introduction, a narrative she couldn't decipher. Alana's departure was as swift as her arrival, leaving a trail of questions suspended in the air. As the door swung shut, Lily was left cradling an enigma, a child bestowed upon her without explanation. Her world had crumbled, a cascade of events unfurling in a matter of moments. The recent departure of her husband had left her vulnerable, the tendrils of depression curling around her spirit. The unexpected visitor, Alana, had unveiled a puzzle, a piece of the intricate tapestry that had once been her life. In her arms, she held not only a baby, but a fragment of destiny, a shard of hope in a sea of uncertainty. The passage of time had cast a heavy pall over Lily's relationship with her husband, rendering the once tender bond a landscape fraught with tension. 6 months of tempestuous exchanges had left Lily with an unexpected emotion, a muted sense of relief at her husband's departure. She found herself harboring a peculiar solace, believing that his exit might pave the way for a fresh start, a second chance at life that she was denied. The sound of the doorbell pierced the air, jolting Lily from her reverie. Anticipation mingled with trepidation as she approached the door, a glimmer of hope for reconciliation flickering in her heart. Yet, as the door swung open, reality shattered her expectations. It was not her estranged husband who stood before her, but a perplexing visitor bearing a bewildering gift. The shock of the moment lingered, like an echo of an unspoken question suspended in the air. In a daze, Lily gently placed the infant on the bed, her thoughts a whirlwind of confusion. It took a moment for coherence to return, and when it did, her trembling fingers dialed her husband's number, an urgent plea for guidance. The connection was established, the line crackling with tension. Lily's voice quivered as she implored, "Lance, I'm at a loss. A woman just brought me a baby, claiming it's ours. Please, I need your help. I don't know what to do." Lance's response was curt, his words tinged with irritation. "Lily, stop this nonsense. You can't manipulate me with a child." Before Lily could offer an explanation, the line went dead, leaving her in a vortex of despair. Panic gripped her, and in desperation, she reached out to her mother, her voice trembling as she recounted the bewildering turn of events. Her mother's reassurance was a lifeline, a promise of swift arrival to quell the storm that raged within Lily's heart. Moments later, a knock echoed through the room, and Lily's mother swept in, a pillar of strength amidst the chaos. The sight of the infant evoked a mix of emotions in her mother, disbelief followed by a swift resolve. She acknowledged the gravity of the situation, her eyes locking onto the child as a newfound determination took hold. "First things first," Lily's mother declared. "This little one is hungry." With purposeful steps, she left to procure the essentials, leaving behind a room filled with uncertainty and a baby's cries. Returning with a box of formula and provisions, Lily's mother guided her daughter through the process, providing not just sustenance, but a lifeline to navigate the unknown. "Boil the bottle," she instructed, emphasizing the importance of sterility. With each step, a semblance of order was restored. Lily cradled the baby, the warmth of their connection beginning to unfurl. The gentle touch of a mother's hand began to soothe the cries, the nascent bond a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. "Who do we have here?" Lily's mother cooed, a tenderness in her voice as she attended to the baby's needs. "We'll have you fed and dry in no time. Your mommy is out there somewhere, and we'll find her." In the heart of uncertainty, a newfound unity emerged, 3 generations bound by a common purpose, unraveling the tapestry of destiny in pursuit of answers, solace, and a reunion yet to unfold. "We'll uncover the truth behind your journey, my dear little one," Lily whispered tenderly, her voice a gentle lullaby of comfort. She examined the baby closely, her heart swaying between worry and determination. "You may be a skinny bun now, akin to a herring, but fear not, for we shall nurse you back to health." The infant, frail and delicate, lay in her arms, a canvas marked by the travails of her nascent existence. A gasp escaped Lily's lips as she turned the baby, revealing a tapestry of diaper rashes that marred the tender skin. The sight was heart-wrenching, each mark a poignant reminder of the trials endured. Emotion surged within Lily, a flood of anguish and empathy that seemed to pierce her heart with every beat. "Lily, bring a large towel," she called out, her voice tinged with urgency. Together, they embarked on the tender task of tending to the baby's needs. As Lily approached, her gaze fell upon the baby, and time seemed to halt. In that ephemeral moment, her eyes locked onto a small birthmark adorning the girl's left shoulder. A gasp of recognition escaped her, and tears welled in her eyes. "Mum, this is Deanna," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with emotion. "Look, the birthmark. It's identical to Lance's. I remember capturing it in a photograph when she was born. This is undeniably our Deanna." Tears streamed down Lily's cheeks, a torrent of joy and relief. She cradled the baby, their souls intertwining in a moment of profound connection. In her embrace, the child found solace, the gentle rhythm of a mother's heartbeat soothing her restless spirit. Amidst the tender moments shared, the reality of the situation became more profound. "We need panthenol ointment," Lily's mother interjected, her voice tinged with urgency. "I'll fetch it from the store. You stay here with the little one." As her mother left, Lily held her daughter close, the surrealism of the situation mingling with the rush of emotions. A hushed silence hung in the air, the weight of the miracle unfolding almost too much to bear. The atmosphere was charged with a unique energy, a cocktail of disbelief and gratitude. Each person present stood at the crossroads of an unfathomable moment, a tapestry of emotions interwoven with the threads of fate. Contacts were made, authorities notified, yet the truth was undeniable. The DNA test seemed almost superfluous in the face of the birthmark's unerring testimony. Deanna, cruelly torn from her mother's embrace, had been returned, a miracle etched upon their lives. Lily's heart soared, a symphony of emotions swelling within her. Her daughter, thought lost, was found. Alana's actions were reprehensible, yet a shred of compassion emerged. She had returned the child, a fragile beacon of hope instead of abandonment. Meanwhile, Lance wandered the streets, a walking embodiment of remorse. Tears flowed freely, mingling with memories of joyous moments that had once painted his life with Lily. Regret gnawed at his soul, a relentless torment that seemed to echo with every step. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Lance's heart remained heavy, haunted by a past he could not change. He yearned for redemption, a chance to rewrite the narrative, to mend the fractures he had unwittingly caused. Amidst the tapestry of emotions, he clung to the glimmer of possibility, a flicker of hope that someday he might find forgiveness and renewal. Despite the love that still coursed through his veins, Lance found himself fatigued by the sight of his wife, a once vibrant spirit now consumed by the suffocating clutches of grief. A simmering anger gnawed at his core, an anger that he mistook for resentment towards her, but it was a fury directed inward, a resentment towards himself. Her phone call had left him untethered, adrift in a sea of emotions he struggled to navigate. He gazed at a photo of their daughter on his phone, a snapshot from the past that now seemed distant and blurred through the veil of tears. A surge of resolve overcame him, the desperate need to return, to bridge the chasm that had formed between them. Lance's heart ached with the fear that Lily might unravel if he wasn't there to steady her. The prospect of a life without her was an abyss too dark to contemplate. Yes, mistakes had been made, hurtful words exchanged, but their love endured. Lance recognized the gravity of Lily's emotional decline, her call, the mention of an unknown child, the turmoil she faced. He had to be by her side, a beacon of support amidst the storm that threatened to consume her. The realization crystallized, a promise made anew. He would fight for their love, for the bond that had weathered storms before. As he ascended the steps, determination fueled his steps, the weight of urgency pressing against his chest. The doorbell rang, and moments stretched into eternity as Lance waited. Panic clawed at him, but the door finally creaked open, revealing Lily's disheveled form. Without hesitation, he swept her into his arms, tears mingling with the torrent of emotions that surged between them. "Lily, forgive me." Lance's voice trembled, his words a fervent plea. "I should never have left. We vowed to face everything together, in sorrow and in joy. I promised to be here for you, to help you bear this burden. Please forgive me." The embrace was a fusion of years of shared history, a tapestry woven with the threads of love, pain, and renewal. Lily's sobs echoed in the space between them, a poignant symphony of release, and Lance's heart swelled with a mixture of anguish and hope. In that moment, their connection transcended words, reaffirming the sacred promise they had made to one another. As tears continued to cascade, Lily's forgiveness echoed, a bridge between past regrets and a future yet unwritten. They stood united, two souls entwined, ready to face the uncertain horizon with the strength of their love as their guide. "Lily, do you hear me? We'll navigate through this together." Lance's words were a tender symphony, a heartfelt chorus of determination and promise. He held his wife, his lips pressing soft kisses upon her tear-streaked cheeks, each gesture a testament to his devotion. Words escaped Lily, a whirlwind of emotions rendering her speechless. Her attention was drawn to a faint sound, a distant cry from the bedroom that beckoned her. Her heart fluttered with a mix of trepidation and curiosity, her gaze locking onto her husband's. A shared glance conveyed their unspoken fears and hopes, and with hesitant steps, Lance made his way to the bedroom. The scene before him left him stunned, his breath hitching in his throat. Wrapped in a towel lay a tiny figure, the embodiment of a miracle, their daughter Diana. Recognition struck Lance like a lightning bolt, emotions cascading over him like a tidal wave. He knelt beside the bed, tears of overwhelming joy streaming down his face. She was real, she was home, his daughter, his flesh and blood. He marveled at her features, a living reflection of himself, a testament to the power of love. The parents' embrace of their long-lost child was profound, a moment suspended in time. The weight of the past seemed to dissipate as they held their daughter close, a tapestry of emotions woven together. Their hearts sang with gratitude, for in this moment, the world was righted. Evening descended, and in the haven of their home, the parents' love enveloped Diana, their touch a balm for her past wounds. With the dawn of a new day, a call was made to the authorities, their focus unwavering, justice demanded and closure sought. Alana's capture was swift, the unraveling of her actions exposing the depths of her troubled mind. Sent to a psychiatric facility, she embarked on a journey of self-discovery and redemption. The court mandated treatment for her condition, and in her darkest moments, a glimmer of hope emerged. Amidst the tumult, Lily and Lance found solace in their renewed bond. A family psychologist aided their path, offering tools to navigate the currents of their emotions. They were determined not to let their past overshadow the future of their children. Time brought forth a new chapter, a son, a testament to the love reborn. The delivery room became a sanctuary of shared dreams, a space where the past's grip weakened and a brighter future emerged. Their son's first cries were a symphony of healing, a promise of new beginnings. With the passage of time, Alana's awakening continued. She grappled with the weight of her actions, seeking redemption and a path toward meaningful contribution. The journey was arduous, fraught with introspection and remorse, but she clung to the belief that even amidst her darkness, a glimmer of light could be ignited. The story of Lily, Lance, and their children became a testament to the human spirit's resilience, a narrative of love's endurance through trials and triumphs. The wounds of the past, while never fully erased, became stepping stones toward a future painted with hope. As they held their daughter and son close, the precious gifts of life, they embraced the journey ahead, united in their commitment to craft a destiny woven with love, understanding, and the unbreakable bond of family.